Welcome to the Trails of History podcast. Today's guest is Joey van Meesen, the creator behind SNAFU DOCS, a YouTube channel dedicated to uncovering the true stories of World War II through in-depth archival research. At just 30 years old, Joey has already worked on a lot of projects, combining cinematic storytelling with rigorous historical accuracy. Through SNAFU DOCS, he brings forgotten moments of the war back to light, honoring the people who fought there, the places and decisions that shaped our history. We're excited to talk with Joey about his journey as a military historian, the importance of doing research the right way, and how film can help us connect more deeply with the past. Now, let's roll the intro.
Soldiers, sailors, and airmen of the Allied Expeditionary Force.
We went over and we crawled. If you stood up, you were dead.
Schulden tragen den deutschen Staat, das Deutsche Reich.
What distance, Papa? This is Delta Papa 3.
We shall fight in the fields and in the streets. We shall fight in the hills. We shall never surrender.
And we're live.
Again.
Welcome. Yeah, we are live. Okay. Well, Joey, welcome to the Trails of History podcast.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, we're just gonna talk history, and that's really it for like an hour, or maybe a little bit longer, maybe less. So this is my friend Sean, my colleague. He's here as
Hi,
well.
Sean.
Well, you've met before the recording, but people don't know that, of course, who's watching this. So
I don't know that much.
well, thanks for being here, man. Let me do a little bit of a tiny introduction of the Trails of History podcast. So we have 3 questions that we ask every guest. So we start with one, and then all the way at the end, we have 2 questions as well that we're going to ask you.
Right.
So just keep that in mind. And we always kick off sort of the icebreaker of the podcast is, how did you personally got into history?
That's an icebreaker. Whew.
Yeah.
And turn the timer up.
Yeah.
Well, there's this photograph on my personal Facebook page where you can see me as a, I think, 3-year-old with my dad, and he's holding his metal detector, and I'm standing between his legs, and I'm like having so much fun with my dad while he's like metal detecting. So that's how I got into it, is because of my dad's passion for World War II history that he has passed down onto me. And that, of course, I mean, in high school and in elementary school, history was one of my favorite subjects. And I mean, I've always had like that interest in the past. And so, that is how I got into history in the short form.
Yeah.
But I don't know if you want to know about how I got into World War II history, is also because of that. I mean, my parents were divorced when I was 6, and so I would see my dad on the weekends, every other weekend. And like what I really cherished as a kid was like those moments with my dad when we were out in the Ardennes or out on the battlefields. And I guess that has always been with me and still is with me, because I still do it with my dad. And so, yeah, I mean, that has always been something that I really, really enjoyed, sort of that tracing history. You know, you're imagining history as a kid in your mind, like, oh, this is where they were, or this is where this happened. And so, you know, that still is, and it's always been wonderful.
Yeah, I don't think that ever changes though. Like I say, I'm pushing 40 now, and I still have that kid feeling when I'm like on a battlefield, and I get all giddy and giggly thinking about the stuff that happened there. And yeah, I don't think that'll ever leave. But that resonates quite a lot with you, Sander. You know, with your dad.
Yeah, I have the same.
It's like hearing the same story again. That's a bit weird. And you're both Dutch. It's a bit weird.
So yeah, I always say that my dad indoctrinated me with history, literally from like a kid on, right? So always it's the same story as you. You go to places with him, and you get more interested, and all of a sudden you get older, and you watch the movies, and and all of a sudden You're one of the bigger history nerds in this space here. To be fair,
I don't know if it's the same with you, but when I was in like elementary school, I would like tell people about Band of Brothers and how awesome it was, and
well,
I
yeah,
would
well,
be that guy.
I have to be completely honest. I think 21 or 22 when I saw Band of Brothers for the first time. Yeah, I know. It's really bad. I've seen Saving Private Ryan when I was a kid, Schindler's List, and all those movies, right? But no, Band of Brothers, I came across, I think it was on Instagram. I scrolled and I saw a part of it, and I'm like, dude, I need to watch it. And I watched it, and I'm like, I was hooked.
What rock were you hiding under?
I don't know, dude. I don't know. Well, I grew up a lot with World War I history, and then of course some World War II because it's pretty close. And then all of a sudden, yeah, I just don't know why. One of the better series on World War II, to be fair. So what made you decide then when you got more into history, right? As a kid and you grew up older, what made you decide to start your YouTube channel?
So that is a long adventure that started basically in high school with video games, and I loved Call of Duty and Battlefield, the first-person shooters, and I loved people putting their montages of things online, and I was like, wow, I would love to do that. And I saw these people creating amazing things, and so I wanted to do the same so I could show that to other people. I don't know why I wanted to do that, but I love that I could just put my stuff online and people would watch it. So that was sort of the starting point for my entry to YouTube. And then as you progress further, I mean, as I progress, I feel like I progressed. You wanted, there's always, you're trying to look how to grow your channel. It's one of these things that you do when you start YouTube. It sounds a little bit weird, but and so people are always telling you, you got to stay close to yourself, all those cliche type of things. And so I was like, I should do something with World War II because I have this passion for video games and I have this World War II interest that is really big. Maybe I can combine the two. So I started like doing video recordings of me doing the single player versions of Call of Duty and other World War II video games, Medal of Honor. And then slowly but surely, I transferred into metal detecting videos. And when I did metal detecting videos, I realized, wow, I'm now actually on the battlefield, but I cannot tell people what happened here. So why are the things that I find interesting if I cannot even explain what happened here? And so I transitioned into doing archival research. And then from archival research, I wanted to tell interesting stories and not just showing metal detecting finds. And so I wanted to create documentaries. And so, I mean, I started my history major program at the university in Leiden. And then I did my military history master's program in Amsterdam. And I always wanted to do like this combination of me as being the historian and making documentaries. So in a short version, that is how I got into YouTube and transitioned into what SNAFU DOCS is today, basically.
Yeah, and it's going great, right? So your videos are getting a lot of views now, and you had one big hit on an Omaha Beach, the photographer.
That was crazy. That was amazing.
That was insane. I followed it from the beginning on, like the whole thing. I'm like, whoa.
Yeah, that was special because I mean, once I had the idea of doing that video, I thought it was going to be a good video, but I never realized that it would do so well because it was also normally a video, like in the past I did videos and it would take about 1 to 2 weeks before it reached 100,000 views. There's sometimes it's just the YouTube algorithm and how that works. And so I uploaded the video, I went to the gym, and I came home and I'm like, wow, we're already at this amount of views. I don't know what it was. And I was like, that's so fast. And then it continued all the way up until the moment I went to bed. And I was like, this is insane.
Yeah.
I might wake up tomorrow and already have 100K views. And so I woke up the next day and it was already over 100.
Yeah,
It was insane. And then within a couple of days, it was 1 million.
Yeah, I was just about to say, and then within like a week, it was like 2 million or 3 million. It was like growing exponentially.
It's interesting because most YouTubers have a similar story. You know, you speak to them and they're just like, yeah, consistent, and then there's one thing that just went through the roof, and no one knows what the mystical algorithm looks like. It's just one day it just pops.
YouTube is so weird. Like my channel, all of a sudden I got really quick to like 90K subscribers with my shorts, and then I did my longer form content, and they didn't get as much views, like just a little fraction of it. And then I quit for a year because YouTube would see my channel as a short channel and not like a long form. And now I'm slowly building it up. Some videos getting 100K, some 20K, some even 1,000 or 2,000. It's not much, but the algorithm of YouTube is so weird, man.
I still don't understand it either, yeah.
Because you did then the raising of the flag on Iwo Jima, that video, and that one didn't perform not as well as we expected, right?
Right. Yeah, that one, and even the Omaha Beach video that I did this year, 17,000 views. I mean, it's not. I mean, 17,000 is
true.
It's still a lot, but I mean, it's when you're used to 100K views or more. You're like, it sort of humbles you in a way. When you, because you're like, we still gotta continue to grind as if it never is going. As if it stops at one point, but that's not the case, of course, because you always want to continue. But you're always like, okay, I gotta put some more effort in this, I guess.
Like more a question, I guess, to both of you. Obviously, I'm not a YouTuber myself, but even though that video did slightly less, say 17,000 or whatever, you must still feel a sense of accomplishment on those lower viewed videos that it's still reached some people, right? You know,
exactly.
And even if that's personally affected a handful of people in that, that's still an accomplishment and something to be thankful for, I would say. But with the algorithm being the way it is, do you ever feel like it puts you off? Do you get to a stage where you're like, oh, why is that? You know, what have I done wrong? Is it something I've done personally, or is it the topic we're on?
Sometimes it does, because I'm like, I mean, we put a lot of effort in these videos, and so, I mean, it's not my full-time job. Just want to say that. And it puts me off in a way that I feel like it's not the subject, or it feels like more personal. Like, oh, maybe it's me that did something wrong. I don't know what, but I mean, I try to put the blame on myself. And then it feels good when I can put the blame on the YouTube algorithm. But I don't know. I feel like it is part of our. Maybe the topic wasn't just that interesting. Maybe I need to do better. But yeah, that's what was going through my mind during those moments. But then again, I watch those videos and I feel like personally, what I try to do in my videos, I always try to take on a subject that I think I know something about, and what other people know about, and then I always try to come up with something new. Like, okay, is there another take that we can have on this? And so it's always a learning, process that is involved with creating such a video, because I always learn something new, or I find some new details that I feel like most people have never seen before. And so even though it doesn't get the views that I think it deserves, I feel like someone is going to benefit from that because of the research that we did.
Yeah. So I also sometimes have the feeling that YouTube sort of punishes history YouTubers, in the sense of like, if you use a little bit too graphic of footage, which is historical and has to do with the video topic that you make on, right? The education of it. And it's really punishing. Like my video from yesterday, it was a really good video, in my opinion, right? They did my best for it, all the research. And then YouTube cannot put any advertisements on it, because there's one frame in it that's a little bit graphic, even when I blurred it. And now my video, it went up like this. It was performing really well in the beginning. And all of a sudden it does this.
Yeah, that's what happened with my Aachen video.
Yeah,
that's not even like graphic stuff as well. Like, if you're displaying a historic picture that has, say, a swastika in it, that's part of history and the subject matter we're talking about.
Yeah.
Instantly, I feel you're persecuted for displaying that, but then that's one of the key parts of history and showing what that was,
Yeah. Although I feel like sometimes you can appeal sometimes a certain decision made by YouTube. For example, if they demonetize your video, and I always feel like they want it to be educational as possible, even though sometimes I feel like sometimes my video is educational, and when it gets demonetized, I feel like, but this is educational. Why are you punishing me for that?
Yeah, it's so weird. The algorithm, like, we can never figure it out. We're struggling it with JD as well and Chris from Vlogging Through History. We are always in the group chat arguing about it and asking questions and like trying to figure it all out, but we can never do it.
I guess the real problem there is there's not a human behind that demonetizing you. It's all done via computers and AI or whatever. It's just skimmed, I imagine, because there's so many uploads per day. If it's case by case and there's a real human vetting everything, it wouldn't happen. It's just the fact that I think as a world now, the whole globe, we rely on technology and this AI scanning and whatnot. It's just a shame that it is impacting history channels, especially, and it's probably not just history. It'll be other topics as well. But like you said, things that are educational and they're uploaded to the internet, that's there forever. That could help people in 10, 20, 30, 40 years time. People can still go back, both of you, to one of your videos and learn from that. So it is a shame that it's kind of discriminated against, I guess is the word you could say.
Yeah. And it's pretty weird. Like sometimes one of your older videos is like a year or 2 years older, all of a sudden gets a boost in views and you have no clue what it triggered. And
this happened with the ghost airplane, from that monument.
La Fosse,
because that video was stuck around 30-40K, and then when Masters of the Air got released, it went up. So I mean, I was able to pinpoint why it went up, but it was kind of interesting to see that happening.
Yeah, the YouTube algorithm is weird. It's good that it's not your full-time job still, because it's so unstable, YouTube.
That, and I feel like I always try to watch how other people do that. One of the great YouTube channels out there, not necessarily history, is Johnny Harris. You might have heard of his videos.
Yeah.
And his way of storytelling is incredible. But these people always work with sponsors.
Yeah.
And so when you have a sponsor in each video and you can actually make a deal for around, I don't know, they get 1 million views almost every video. So if you can have a deal that you get $10,000 for sponsorship, you're good.
You're
it
good.
doesn't matter if
golden.
your video underperforms a little bit, right? So
yeah, he does very well for himself. Also the topics and the map animations, but he has a whole team as well, right, behind it, who makes all those map animations and stuff. Speaking of map animations, I remember you using maps in your videos, and I was maybe 4 years ago or so, and I sent you a message like, "Hey, what program do you use?" And you said it was a plugin, GeoLayers.
GeoLayers.
Yeah, it's because of you that I make all my maps as well now, also for other YouTube channels and stuff. It's actually because of you, because you told me you were working with GeoLayers, and it looks so good on your channel.
Yeah, no, it's one of the better, I feel like, plugins.
Yeah, well, it's pretty expensive, but it is worth it in the end.
Yeah, so I currently don't have a subscription on GeoLayers, and so, but I still can use the satellite imagery to create.
Okay.
So that's what I do, and then sometimes in After Effects I sort of try and create my own things using the GeoLayers program, but I create my own sort of.
Yeah, your maps are also really, really good. Like really clean always.
I love seeing that. I think I see the Nijmegen map behind Sean. Is that Nijmegen?
Yeah, so that's a reproduction map of the time. So yeah, the Arnhem and then Nijmegen below.
I love those old maps, those 1944 AMS maps.
It's the time old, like the first podcast we did, and I think I've said this a couple of times now, people get bored of it, but I sat here and I'm like, that's a really yellow wall with nothing on it. So I was scrambling around looking for blue tack and tape and something to put there, and the map stayed. Maybe I'll get a picture of Sander and put it there for a bit, but we'll see.
Don't. The people will immediately click away. Well, my face here is already enough for people, though. Yeah, I have a good link for you that I can send you. It's like an online, it's a sort of an Excel file with a lot of download links to all the maps from World War II, like all such maps.
Okay.
So it remind me, and then after the podcast I can send it to you. Or maybe I've sent it to you before, I don't know, but it's really, really good. So you have sent me something in the beginning, and I'm not gonna say what, but it refers to your trip to Okinawa. Yeah, okay. I want to talk about your trip in Okinawa. Like, what made
Sure.
you decide to go to Okinawa? But also, what was the most impressive part that changed your perspective on the Battle of Okinawa while you were there?
Ooh, the second question is okay. No, I think I know the answer. So, first of all, I went there in 2018 or 2017. I don't even remember. So I finished my history major program, 3 years, University of Leiden, and then I wanted to start on my military histories program, and I signed up too late for the military histories program, so that I couldn't attend that year. It was my own fault. Just too late, lazy. And so I had to wait a year, and I was like, all right, what am I gonna do? I'm gonna work at this. I had this job at this restaurant, so I was gonna just continue to be a waiter for a year and make some money. And then with my ex-girlfriend, she decided to go to Thailand. She always wanted to do that, and we decided, okay, she's gonna go to Thailand for 4 weeks, and then after that, we're gonna meet in Vietnam. And so when she was to Thailand, she planned to go to Thailand, and I planned to go to Okinawa to explore the World War II battlefields by myself there. So that was the intention. Like, we're gonna go on a trip, and you're gonna go to Thailand, then I'm gonna do something with my own. So I'm gonna go to Okinawa.
Yeah, that's amazing.
And no, that was great. I had 2 weeks there. I guess the thing that changed my perspective was when you're there right now, you see that it's there's cities. I mean, there's a lot of infrastructure, buildings. There's so much. If you're on top of Hexaw Ridge, you can see there's so many things you can see. As in, like, building wise, there's no. When you're in the Ardennes, for example, Battle of the Bulge, you're in a forest and you see forest around you. You see when you're on the field, there's nothing but the field and some cows maybe, right? But there it's like there was so much infrastructure, buildings, whatever, and when you see those pictures from 1945, you see it looks as if it's no man's land.
Yeah.
And that's, I mean, when you watch the Pacific episode when they are in Okinawa, it's like nothing but mud and rain, and I'm like,
Yeah.
so and that didn't hit me, like, that perspective didn't hit me until I actually was there. So and there was a lot of jungle back then. I feel like it's because I saw you. I mean, there's a lot of photographs and videos of that, and yeah, I mean, that's it. And I thought, like, wow, this is such harsh terrain to actually fight and have combat.
Man, I cannot imagine just fighting the Japanese in such terrain, in such a jungly area, and especially the heat as well. I don't know what time of the year you went there, but it was probably warm.
I was there in May, June. Ooh. So it was around 25 to 35 degrees Celsius all day, and the humidity was
that makes it worse, right?
I was going to say,
yeah,
humidity is always one thing you read. So I looked into Okinawa a lot after, of course, Hacksaw Ridge came out, and I didn't really know much before that and did a lot of research. But one consistency that a lot of vets in their books and stuff was the heat and the humidity was the killer.
Yeah. That is, I know. I can mean that must have been terrible.
Yeah,
especially even at night or whatever. There's no place to cool down. If you're like me, I do terrible in the heat.
Oh, same, yeah.
So, I mean, yeah.
Well, now
overall, the country itself is amazing. By the way, Japan is. I mean, I've not been to mainland Japan. I've only been to Okinawa, which is it's amazing. It's a great country for a battlefield tour.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, JD has been there now twice in that area, I think, and he also speaks like amazing. He's been
Yeah.
3 times, Guadalcanal, Peleliu, and Japan. Like he speaks really nice of those the Asian people who live there. They're very respectful, and it's all pretty how would I say it? Structured and stuff like that.
Hmm.
Is that the right word?
I don't know. I don't know what you're trying to say, really. But
So, like the structured, like people, it's all structured, respectful, clean.
yeah, I mean, Japan is definitely like that. I'm not. I mean, that's all I can say for Japan.
Yeah. Well, yeah. We
Vietnam
need to go there.
Vietnam was different.
Yeah. Well, we need
I
to
would-
go there as well one time, Sean. Like that would be amazing.
Oh,
That would be
yeah,
an
I'd
amazing
love to.
trip. So
Add it to the list.
yeah,
Yeah, the big
big
list.
list. Yeah. So we're going from hot Okinawa to cold Norway.
Okay.
So you've been to Norway with the Dutch Marine Corps.
No, I mean you can say that. Yeah. So one of my I'm a freelancer, so I also do work for the Marine Corps Museum here in the Netherlands, and so we did a trip to Norway to film educational content for the museum, and basically that for the museum. And so we spent a week there in Norway with the Marines who were training there. They got their cold weather training, winter training, and so yeah, we we did that.
Yeah. So tell us about that. So how was that trip? Like you go there, you need to film content there. So what did you guys film? Like how?
So we had one guy who was our point of contact, who basically was with us all the time, with me and my other colleague from the museum, who is the presenter and the educator of the museum, and he's the one who's on camera talking and such. And so we wanted to do videos about how Marines survive in cold weather and what they have to learn for that. So it was everything from how to survive in the cold, making a shelter, to finding a specific. So whenever they're operating in cold weather areas, they have some sort of device with them so that I'm not sure what it's called, a barometer, I think.
Barometer.
Barometer, and so. And so, when someone is lost in the snow, you can always find him with some. I believe that was the thing. That was the barometer.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
And so we filmed how the current Marines were receiving training for that, and then we like did a sketch for our own, as in how to explain how it worked, stuff like that. So there was always a part where we filmed the original, like the Marines receiving their training, and then we would explain it in for children. And so that was like 5 days or a week that we were, but it was awesome because we were inside the camp.
Yeah.
We had like breakfast, lunch, and dinner was always at the same time as everyone else. So it was, we were sort of like with the Marines.
Yeah, you went in the water as well, I saw.
Yeah, so that was fun because at first I didn't want to, because I was like, yeah, I'm not gonna do that. I don't wanna, I mean, not that I was scared, but it just wasn't feeling like
Yeah.
putting myself out there, pushing myself in that way. But I started having regrets when I saw my friend on camera doing it and everyone else. I'm like, I'm gonna regret this if I don't do it.
Yeah. And you're glad you did it.
It's
But
moments like those there, though, where you challenging
Exactly.
yourself is, hindsight's a wonderful thing, and I've always believed that there's no time for regrets. And when you get presented a challenge, especially if other people are doing it, you need to just throw yourself into it, and then you look back on it, right, and you think, I'm so glad I did that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, it's funny. Yeah, exactly that. I can't explain it any better.
Yeah, it's even stuck with me that you did it when I saw that video, and I'm like, dude, that is cool. Like,
Yeah. At the same time, it was funny because you see a lot of people doing like taking ice baths and all of that. I never do that. I'm not that type of person. But so the funny thing was, when I decided, okay, I'm gonna do it, I didn't bring any of like the clothing that you're supposed to bring. You're supposed to bring dry underwear with you and dry shirt. I didn't do that because I was like, if I don't take it, they're not gonna push me in, because I don't like when people force me into things. But now so they didn't do that, but now I started having regrets.
Yeah.
And so I was like, to my friend, he came out of the water. I filmed him like going into the water. We filmed that sketch with the instructor, and I was like, I'm gonna do it as well. And so my friend, he changed clothes, and I put on his wet clothes, like they're already wet.
Oh, yeah.
His wet underwear, so I could save my underwear.
Yeah.
And so it was already cold, and then I had to run outside in like wearing wet clothes, and it was cold, and so I ran to the water, and then I stood on those skis, and and then the guy's asking you questions because you gotta be calm, and so he's gonna ask you questions, and it was fun.
Yeah, I'm so jealous on that. Like I would do that as well. Like I sometimes do ice baths, not in the summer because then it's not icy, right? But every winter I do it. And I saw that video and I'm like, dude, I would love to do that as well, because that is I think the coldest that you can get, literally.
Yeah. It was because how I describe it, because I've never done ice baths, but how I would describe it is like the moment you get into the water, like your whole body stinks. Not stink, but stinks. So it's like you feel pain everywhere.
Yeah.
And you're like, it's this pain, this cold shock type of thing. But I mean, you're fine.
Once you're in, you're fine. Your whole body, all of a sudden, your stress goes so high, and your body tries to heat itself. It's a really cool thing. I would recommend it to people to do it, because afterwards you feel really great. So
I've done ice baths before, and it's always a weird sensation when you get out and then you almost feel too hot.
Yeah,
you know, where the atmosphere is so much, even in frozen temperatures, it's still a lot warmer than the water itself. So when you get out, you get that weird warm feeling, but you know that your body's shutting down unless you get in the hot tent or get warm again. So
yeah.
Oh, man. So for another one, this is completely off topic, but it is something that I really would like to know from you. Is do you have a favorite project or episode that you worked on that you are particularly proud of? Not view-wise, with views, and maybe you're gonna say the Ghost Plane of La Fosse.
Does it have to be YouTube?
No.
Okay.
No. Because if you were going to say that documentary, I was suggesting say then a second one.
No. So I did. So we did the almost 10 million views video, the Richard Taylor, the D-Day cameraman project, right? But what really topped that was that this year I worked with a French production company on a VR documentary. It's called the D-Day Cameraman, I think. It's a French production company, and what they did was they told Richard Taylor's story, but now in a virtual reality type of documentary. And so I was able to meet the daughter of the cameraman on screen on Omaha Beach, at the cemetery first, and then on Omaha Beach we walked in her dad's footsteps where he filmed and all that. And so for me, that is like one of the biggest accomplishments so far.
Yeah, that's really cool.
With that project, just in general, I absolutely love like researching the photographers. It's one of my favorite subjects. And so, but that was like really my favorite. I feel like that's what I'm currently most proud of. Yeah.
Yeah, dude, that's amazing.
And when you say VR documentary, as in like virtual reality.
Yeah. So when you
put a headset on and.
I think it's the Apple VR glasses, and when you put them on, there's like a whole user interface, like you have with the what is it? The Meta. There's some the Quest 2.
Yeah,
the Meta Quest. Yeah.
Quest. Which I have, but so it's like you put it on. There's a whole interface. There's like you can do things, but that's the same for Apple. And so when you go on there, you can watch. I think you can watch this documentary.
Oh,
you experience cool. And you can interact with. So I believe they're at her house, and she has this whole box of stuff from her dad, and you can actually take those objects and you can look at them, and then I don't know, they've generated or created this VR world of different scenes on Omaha Beach, and you're like brought into there. Yeah.
So is this already out, or is it still in the making? It's already out.
Is that like an app on the Meta Quest sort of store or something that you can?
Yeah, I think so. It's not Meta, so this is on the Apple Vision Pro.
Oh.
Because I did do so. My son's got a Meta Quest. Granted, he's usually using it to like blast zombies and stuff, right?
Yeah, right.
But I did go on there. A friend of mine sent me a link, and it's from the perspective of inside a Sherman, I think it was.
Oh yeah.
So it was only a short thing, but as you look around, you can see all the control panels and stuff, and the crew in there, and that was really cool. And I thought to myself, this is a really unique tool, and I hope it is utilized more for documentaries and historical stuff. Yeah, I was blown away by that. But yeah,
that
that's
is
really
definitely
good.
there are several documentaries, even on the Quest 2. Yeah, you can. There's, I don't know, they are short format because people don't expect you to wear this thing for an hour.
Yeah,
but it's like 10, 15 minutes, I believe. There's some stuff out there. Yeah, it's really interesting.
So immersive though.
Yeah, immersive.
I want to see that now.
That tank one, like you can hear the engine rumbling, and the guys in the tank are shouting at each other, and one of them's firing the gun, and you're just kind of sat in the middle and looking around your room. God knows what I look like to people that are walking by, and I'm like, oh my god, this is amazing. But yeah, that's cool. Yeah, it'd be really interesting to see if more of that sort of stuff comes out.
Oh man, now I want to see that one that you worked on.
Yeah,
that does sound good.
Yeah,
it's a very new way of storytelling. That is.
So they reached out to you after seeing your video with the photographer from Omaha Beach.
So sort of. So in this was via another friend. I worked on this. I worked on this project in 2018 with several World War II veterans, and it was a virtual reality game, Medal of Honor. You know Medal of Honor, but they released a virtual reality game in 2019 or something, or 2018. But there was an extras content within the game, and if you watch the extras content, you could see interviews with World War II veterans and sort of that. Now, from that project, they released one of those documentaries that was supposed to be for the VR extras thing. They released it as a standalone version on I think the Guardian website, the YouTube channel, and that thing got an Oscar award. And so the guy who directed that is the guy that I worked with for that thing, and he's a very good friend of mine. He's the brother of composer Michael Giacchino, who designed the original Medal of Honor soundtrack.
Really?
You see, when you go on Instagram, you see there's his original soundtrack from Medal.
Yeah, from Medal of Honor.
Put it in their videos. So
I've used it a lot.
So his brother is Anthony Giacchino, who's a friend of mine, who then earned an Oscar, and because of that, he was approached by a lot of people, and one of these people was Meta, and through Meta, we got in contact with the French production company.
Wow. Dude. Wow.
That's like a crazy domino effect of leading to that point. That's really cool.
And that's all because Anthony watched one of my older YouTube videos from Joe DiMaggio.
Really? Oh, that's awesome. Because like life is so weird sometimes, man. Like how it can go. That butterfly effect. So, but you worked together with Florent? Is that how I said correctly, his name?
Yeah, I call him Flo, but Florent, yeah.
Flo. Well, Florent, you worked with him on that D-Day video as well, right? With photograph. So how did you met him? Like, you make a lot of videos with him for your channel.
Yeah, Flo is the guy that I met before we went famous.
Yeah.
So he's always been my friend. Like so I met him through our mutual connection with Myra from the United States. She had Flo as a guide at one point, and I came to Normandy at one point, and I mean we met and we hit off, and it was like great. It was the greatest thing. Like I'm sure you guys have that same connection when you met first, and you were like nerding out over stuff, and you're like, it's instantly there, right? And I had the
Yeah.
same thing with Flow, and so we were like nerding out over some infantry division that like people don't care about, and we were like, wow, we should go there and we should visit the farm because maybe that's where they were, and stuff like that.
Oh, that's awesome. So you met him in Normandy while you were on a trip there, and then now literally, could you say he's your business partner in a sense?
It's not my business. I mean, I would say he's one of my best friends. But he has his own thing. He has his tour, Battlefield tours.
Yeah.
I have SNAFU DOCS, and he loves working with me on my videos. He doesn't want anything from it other than a credit, and mention that he's like a guide or whatever, and so that he can use that to show, people will see him on my videos and hopefully book a tour with him.
Yeah. Oh, dude, that's awesome.
And also that is because he loves my work, and so he believes that when we do something, it gives him credibility as a tour guide as well.
Yeah, you help each other, you work each other up.
Right.
Yeah. Oh, dude, that's awesome. I never knew that. Because I see him a lot in your videos, and just looking at his personality in the videos, I don't know if he's the same before camera, but behind.
That is the one thing about Flo. Like, his personality is amazing. He's this funny guy, serious guy as well, but he knows how to handle people and like capture.
Yeah, well, he does that very well, and he knows what he's talking about as well, which is also a thing to have as a tour guide, of course. So talking about tour guides, so you are going to do some tours as well?
It's not my favorite. Doing tours is not like it may sound strange, but it's not my favorite thing.
Mm-hmm.
It always stresses me out a bit.
Oh yeah, we know.
Yeah, I completely understand where you're coming from with the stress side of it.
Yeah.
And that is for the reason is that like I love taking people on a journey, like when it's a relative, of a veteran, son or grandson or daughter, granddaughter, uncle. And so I enjoy tailoring the tour around someone's relative's experience, and we walk in the footsteps of that veteran. The same time, what you have is that you will go to sites that you're not familiar with, at first, and so you will. There's a lot of reading and learning that comes with it. And sometimes I find it hard because, you don't want to charge people too much for a tour, but you also want to give them the best experience that they can have. Mm-hmm. And so when you have a package tour that's like Quaysides, Battle of the Bulge, it's easy because once you have that, you can always repeat it. Boom, boom, boom.
Yep.
But when it's a tailored tour, which I enjoy more, but you got to put in more work, and so you're always, I don't know. It's but I don't like the factory work. I don't like the I want people to really, I like it when people are trying to learn.
Yeah.
But I feel like that is different. I feel like it, I don't know, maybe that's just me, but when there's a group of 5 people that have no connection, like no direct connection with World War II, I find it difficult to,
it makes for us like 100% sense. Like when we do when somebody books a private tour with you, they really want to know about the story, right? And if you do like a commercial one, so like we did one for the Dutch military, some of them were very interested and stuff, but most of the group were just there because it was mandatory for them, right?
Right.
And then you have to convince them how cool history actually is, and you're doing another job during the tour trying to convince people.
Right.
And and it's way easier with people who are already interested in. And especially what you said, like doing research on specific areas that are not common. Dude, people have no idea how much work goes into it because you have to be accurate with your information. And what I learned as well, if you try to learn about a topic, and you've probably know this better than anyone, is when you're researching a topic, different sources say different things. Yeah. And you're trying to find like what is right. This book says this. The other book says this, then all of a sudden the War Diary says this, and the Morning Report says this, and it's all over the place. And you're just like,
You need to find the happy sort of medium with times, dates, and all that. But then when we did that tour, for instance, of Ypres, certain parts of the battles that happened there, I would always convey, this was written several times, and the front shifted so many times over the course of the years of the battle. Not all information is correct.
Mm-hmm.
So I think for me, it was telling the story, but making sure they knew that it's not always 100% accurate.
Right.
So
yeah, I feel like in general, most like we care a lot about the details, but I feel like there's again at the same time people don't care about so many details. They just want to hear a good story, and they want you to entertain them for a certain amount of time that day.
That's true. But if you do research for yourself, right, or for a tour who wants to know the details, how do you handle that with different sources saying different things, or do you try to find middle ground? Do you look behind the source, like which one is more credible?
I always try to I start because my focus is generally like U.S. Army, so I never do British tours of the British sector. I always start with what does the after action report say, what does the morning report say, and what do the combat interviews say, what do other stuff say. Maybe we have some, when we have overlays, I will make a map. I will redraw the map on the overlay on the actual, like one of those maps that you have behind you, Sean. I will use an overlay to put it on there so that we can see the movement of the troops, and I will just explain them to them, like, okay, so this was written in the after action report.
Yeah.
If something is vague, for example, I will say this is what is written in the after action report. This is what the morning reports say, and this is what this other source say, and I think this is what I think of it. And I will give a conclusion of that. And it's up to
interpretation, I guess, at the end of the day.
Yeah.
You've got to remember, after action reports, morning reports is written by a human that's been in the battle. Facts times are lost, forgotten. People use rough times because no one's looking at their watch in a particular battle. So it's just a lot, and I think that goes for all history. It's just how we interpret it in the most accurate way possible. But I don't think anything can ever be truly 100%. So
right, that's correct. I feel like that is the job of us as historians as well. I mean, that is what we do. We try to reconstruct what is most likely that has happened, and I mean, for cases like this, it's important, but it doesn't really say anything on a bigger level. Like when you go to ancient history, this is even more troubling, right?
So many different things there, which is pretty nice. A little bridge to what I'm going to ask you now. So you're a researcher, a historian, trying to find what actually happened, really. And then all of a sudden you have now AI.
Yeah.
So AI and history, what do you think the future holds with that? Because I saw you posting yesterday. Was that?
Yeah.
So you did a little game on SNAFU DOCS?
Maybe you can tell more about it. Because I thought maybe this is a good idea for a video, and I was like, I'm gonna test the waters here. I'm gonna try and see what people think about this subject. So I got 4 pictures that were AI, 4 pictures that were not AI, and I put them in a random order. I asked people, do you think this is AI or not? And it was funny because some people were like, some photos that I thought were like easy to spot were AI. People put like, this is not AI, and like, how can you not? I mean,
yeah.
And then for the ones that I thought were actually challenging, were people like, no, that's not AI, and they were like, most of them are correct. But I'm like,
yeah. I hope I was correct. I did it as well. I hope I was correct with all of them, because some were well, for me, because we are younger, right? Younger people, right. We've seen everything. We can see the inaccuracies, and because we know about history, we can probably see it better than anyone else. But I hope that I got it right.
Right. But so I've really thought about this for the last 48 hours. I feel like I've tried to give it my best thoughts, and I still haven't figured it out. But so what is the problem? Like, I asked that question in my last story. Is like, okay, if the lines are being blurred with AI, why is this a problem? And people are like, I can show you the comments. I mean, I can.
Mm-hmm.
People will say it's because it's fake and it's not real and it's where it's misinformation. depends on if you put a label whether it's AI or not.
Yeah,
But they're like, why is this a problem? So okay, it's fake, but why is it a problem? For example, when the cameras were first, I tried to find. I haven't done that part yet, but I asked. I love asking ChatGPT things. Huh?
Oh, I use ChatGPT a lot as well. So
Talking about AI here, but
I'm too old school. I don't like any of it. I feel like I've seen this as a movie when I was a kid. It had Arnold Schwarzenegger in and robots that came and took over. So.
Yeah, you were like what, a Terminator and
Skynet. That was it. Skynet's going to take over.
yeah.
Bloody AI. Sorry, I interrupted.
No, no problem at all. Where was I? So why is it a problem when it's fake? And so I asked ChatGPT, when the cameras were first invented, were people afraid that people now could film stuff and present something to be real which was not real? Like when you see movies, it is the real world that we see, but we know, everyone who watches a movie knows it's a movie, right? So, and we don't complain about that, but were people scared at first when people started making movies? So,
that's a good one.
I'm trying to play in my head with those ideas. And so, but at the same time, if lines are being blurred between something that is real and not real, imagine in 300 or 400 years from now, people are going to assume that things have happened in a certain way, which have not happened.
Yeah.
And I mean, that is, for example, a lot of stuff like where we are now with ancient history. We don't know a lot of things about things that happened 2,000 years ago, 3,000 years ago, because we're not close to that point in time. And so
I see what you're saying.
Perspective that, like, I've not really thought of it from that angle before.
Yeah, so you could say with AI now as well, like it sort of could rewrite what people think happened in like you said, 400 years time.
Well, so these AI and images are a source of information that we have, which before that were paintings. So paintings were either what the artist thought was his vision on the world, and so he put that vision on a painting. But with photography, what we had with photography when it came out is we captured a moment in time, and that single moment, that millisecond, was captured forever, and we can always look back at that moment in time, and it doesn't change because that is the exact moment in that time. And now with AI, we are actually starting to distrust what we see. Like before, we were looking at a photo and we thought it to be real if it was not photoshopped or edited. We already had that problem with Photoshop, of course. But now with AI, is it going to increase our skepticism towards what we see?
Probably, yeah. Dude, that's a really interesting take. Like, you really thought about that? Yeah, dude,
it's strangely deep when you start thinking about it.
Yeah, but the reason why I think about it, because there's a lot of religion is getting. I'm agnostic, atheist. I'm just going to point it out. So, but I love exploring religious topics, and so one of the things, of course, that always comes up is the authority of the Bible and whatever. I don't want to say too much about it. I don't want to offend people with that. But it's always like, okay, how can we research those stories in those? In how can we explore those religious texts, whether it's the Bible, whether it's the Quran, whether it's whatever, Zeus, Thor, is we go back to the source. We try to go back to the source as close as possible. But so back then, people, like when you witness an event, you can write down your things. You can write out the first thing that you wrote, like when you an eyewitness report, right? And so this is what we see with World War II as well. So John Simonetti, I made a video about John Simonetti. He was missing in action, killed in action, June 1944. And a year later, people wrote down what they remembered about him. The guys that were with him were interviewed, right? They say, like, they described the last moments with him and where they were. But they had the location wrong, where they were. It's a year after the event.
Yeah.
And then, already a year after, people are already like the I don't know the words for this, but our memory is not as reliable as we think.
Nope. Yeah.
Although we hope that to be. But the further you go away from a moment, the more the line starts to blur. And so you always want a source of an event that is close to the event that we're talking about.
Mhm.
So if you want to describe a veteran, if you want to if you heard a veteran talking about an event that he was at 80 years ago, I mean, there's probably things there are going to be things that he has correct, but there's a huge chance that he's mixing some of his memories with the event or whatever has happened. I mean, I already experienced that with my own things. The point is, when the lines between real and fake images are being blurred, we lose that sense of control that we have on reality, what we think is to be real.
Yeah, dude, this is, I love this. Go on.
Especially in 200 years from now, we might now, like, it might not be a problem for us right now. Like, oh, yeah, this is clear, this is AI for sure. But who is going to know that in 300 years?
Yeah.
Nobody. Yeah. It's going to get to such a level that people would, real images assume that it's AI, and AI images would assume that it's real. Like, what you say, the lines between that is going to be, there's going to be no line. It's like, it could be exactly the same. And then you have to guess.
Yeah,
indeed. From
so
which
what
source
is important?
it comes.
What is important in all of this, in what I think as well, is the importance is that we have archives. You know, archives are a way that we can trace back a certain source. So when we have a signal core photograph, we know that it's a signal core photograph. First of all, because it has most of the time it has a stamp in either the left or right bottom corner. On the caption, we have a caption that describes the photo itself, but there's also a number that is also displayed on the photograph itself. And so once we have records of the records, which is we have records of the photographs and when they came into the archives, we can get as close as possible to the source, and we like, okay, so this is an actual signal core photograph that was taken in 1945. So this, because of the number, because of the stamp, and because of the number of the photograph, falls within the range of numbers that were used for World War II photographs.
You can trace it all back.
It makes the job of the historian, I think, or the archivist, more important when it comes to verifying photographs or images.
Yeah.
The thing that scares me the most with AI is stuff that's clearly wrong. But then if the younger generations look at it and believe that, and then their perception of that history's lost then, you know?
Yeah.
So that's I think it's a bit scary for me. And because I've got young kids, I see now when they're on their iPads and whatever, you can see some of this stuff cropping up, not necessarily with history, but AI is featuring huge now. And it is when it's clearly fake, but impressionable people believe that that's what it is. So in terms of history and AI, that's one thing that does scare me a little bit with it.
I understand.
So with
it
AI,
scares me as well.
Yeah, well, it is scary, but it's also beautiful in one end, because with AI, you can use it for bad and you can use it for good, right? There's always bad people using AI for bad, right? Making false informations on history and yada, yada, yada. So I made a video series on that. So people have different opinions on it, that I have historic pictures and moments, and then let AI move that, like what would that picture look like for like a 10-second video. I used that with a huge disclaimer in the beginning, in the title, in the description, in the comments, and still people were not liking it and stuff like that, which I agree, and I would also not make those videos anymore. But AI is also so helpful, like researching, finding sources, right? AI is often wrong with information. If I did Operation Market Garden research and I ask AI on like a certain lieutenant's name of a certain battalion or a certain squadron, and it will have it wrong, right? It will say that Gavin was the leader, captain of A company,
right,
from the 80s, stuff like that. But for using sources or typing stuff out and restructuring sentences to make it more understandable for historic purposes, that we can use that.
For sure.
Yeah, to better our research, to better our understanding of history as well. It's sort of a double-edged sword.
I know,
with it, and I like what you do on your Instagram with that. Like making people realize like, hey, it looks really good, but it's still fake.
Yeah, but I don't know where it's gonna be. Like, I don't know what AI. It's already this good. So where is it gonna be in 10 years or whatever, 5 years, next year?
Yeah, I was just going to say, ultimately, AI, it's not going anywhere now. It's only going to develop more and be a part of everyone's lives. So hopefully we get to a point where we find the balance, keep our human side with research and stuff, and also have that as a tool more than anything.
Yeah. At the same time, there will always be people who I feel like I had this problem on, I mean, not a problem, but I saw the comments on my D-Day cameraman video, right? And people have seen Saving Private Ryan, and they claim Saving Private Ryan to be a correct representation of what happened on Omaha Beach. And so they watched my video, and they're like, but why are there guys standing in the foreground watching the troops landing, and there's only a couple of like soldiers? Like, this must clearly be fake.
They've never been there, and they don't know how long Omaha Beach really is. And
so there will always be people who either who will, whether it's not even AI, there's always going to be people who just trust original sources.
Trying to explain to them, listen, you went so and so long, you have different sectors. Omaha Beach, St. Barbara was one sector, and the ranges weren't even there. Yada yada yada. But going in it's just too much effort with every comment to reply on that, right?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. So with the AI stuff, what you just talked about, right? The perspective with the blurred lines between AI and history, and that's a good video idea.
Yeah.
Are you planning on doing that, or?
Yeah, I'm working one out. I was writing the script yesterday, and so I'm trying to see how I can do that in a interesting way.
Oh man, that's such a good one.
That'd be good.
If you need any help, message me.
I'll let you know.
I would like to be part of that video. That's a cool idea, though. No, that's actually, I'm looking forward to that. So what part, just completely different, what part of history do you think gets overshadowed? It can be World War I, it can be ancient, but it can also be a certain battle during World War II, or maybe a little part in a battle of World War II. Like, what part of something historic gets overshadowed and you think deserves more attention?
Religious history. I'm going to be completely honest. Religion, maybe. I feel like it's part of a lot of people's everyday lives, but we don't give attention to it. It's like it's there, but everyone is just, I mean, we learn about it in school, of course, but people are afraid to question religion a lot of times. And I feel like we can actually learn a lot when we look at where does it come from and why is it part of our lives and so much. And maybe not the answer you expected.
No, but that's a really good answer. I love this. Each guest has so specific, good answers. That's different.
And I do agree, and it's the same as you, Joey. I'm atheist. I'm not. It doesn't interest me, but I love churches, for instance, and I love hearing the stories and stuff. And I used to work in London, and a couple of my friends were Muslims. So some of their religious holidays, like I got invited to stuff like sitting down for dinner with families, and I love that aspect of it. But for me, it's always the true human nature of it, not necessarily the text they read,
Exactly.
I love that vibe that you get from it. But I don't think I'll ever be religious, but all the religions I've sort of dipped my toes into, shall we say, and experienced through friends, it's great. And I think it's a really good answer to say that it is something that's a bit overshadowed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then when you say like religious history, but then you also go back to what with the topic beforehand, like how much has been told was real, how much has it been blurred throughout history, and that's a really interesting thing you got there.
Yeah, and of course another answer would be the photographers. I mean, it's my favorite subject at this point.
Yeah.
Because they are shaping so much of what we know about, like how we look at military history in this case. All those famous pictures of Omaha Beach or the Battle of the Bulge, they define our sense of what we think about the battle. And so, I mean, it's always like when you study a photograph or a photographer or a series of photographs he took or sequence photographs he took, it's always It's always that aha moment when everything clicks together. And I mean, that may be not
Yeah.
as interesting for the people who are like not as interested in World War II as we are. But for me, it's always like, now I understand what's happening in this photograph. And so, yeah, I mean, that would be my second answer.
It's a really niche part of the wars, right? The photographers, you don't hear often about them, almost never, but we always see their work. Their work is everywhere, but we don't know who's behind the picture. Well, of course, you have the guy from Omaha. His name is pretty famous now because he took those famous pictures, right? But even the rest, if you just, for example, the photo in Saint-Mère-Église of the 82nd Airborne, where he's pointing up towards the church. You know that photo? I don't know who took that photo. I don't know anything about. I know that is something you probably know.
I don't think it's a Signal Corps photo. So I think it's a press photo.
Oh, it is
press photographer. I think. Yeah, I believe.
Okay.
I don't think it's Signal Corps. I might not be sure.
Okay, maybe
the level of danger they would put themselves through, a lot of them as well, to capture that moment in time. Like, I was always blown away by the footage taken in Cologne in Germany of the tank battle between the Pershing and the Panzer of some sort. But that guy is there filming it live with shells rattling off and bullets going everywhere. And you think,
right,
the mindset you must have to think, I need to put the film before my own safety. You know, without those guys, you know, going back to AI and history and having stuff in the archives, if it wasn't for them, so much more would be lost.
Right, correct. I definitely agree with that. Yeah. It's interesting because there is, when you think about it and you look at there's so much footage and photographs out there, but there's only a tiny amount of footage where we can actually see like the front lines or where the actual battle is raging, because there's not a lot of footage where you can see actual battle, because most of the photographers were operating a little bit in the rear, or sometimes when it was even quiet. I mean, that's my perspective on this. And so there's only a rare amount of instances where photographers are actually near the front line, near the battle, in the combat zone. And yeah, Cologne is one of those rare moments that I think and they just kept filming. It's incredible.
I think it's the only footage of World War II tanks fighting each other without things being rehearsed. We know the famous ones of the Germans, right, with the Tiger shooting, and then you see the T-34. But that story as well, that T-34 was empty and was sitting there, and for the camera, they did it for propaganda reasons. And that one in Cologne is so authentic as well, because you see the impacts, you see the vehicle burning, you see the Germans get out of the tank while the tank inside is smoking and stuff. It's absolutely crazy what those people.
Yeah, there's two. I believe there were two cameramen at that point. That's because one guy who did an amazing video about that. I don't know his name anymore.
We should go there, make a video about it.
Yeah, but I mean, there's always this guy who already did that video. So I mean, I feel like I have nothing to add there.
We can
All I
always
remember
make
is where they. I think is it a Panzer? Sander, you know, I'm not very good with tanks.
Panther, I think.
Panther, yeah. All I remember is, if you need to know where that was, is right next to McDonald's in Cologne.
Yeah, of course he knows that, right?
Yeah, go for your Mackey's breakfast, look out the window, and be like, "That's where that tank was."
Yeah,
there you go.
So we are already an hour and 10 minutes in. There were some questions that we left out, but we cannot go on forever and ever and ever, right? We can invite you back within a few months as well, and then talk more history nerd stuff.
Maybe more about AI and see how that went.
Yeah.
Oh, definitely, man. That's an interesting topic. I wish we started with that so we could just talk the whole podcast about AI.
I would have logged off long ago and gone and the AI.
Yeah. So we're coming at the end. We have 3 more questions, of which 2 we ask. Well, actually, all 3 we ask every guest, but the last question speaks for itself. But Sean, do you want to do the first one, and I'll do the second?
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
Bide. So, Joey, if you could sit down with one person from history, who would it be, and why, and what would you say to them? It doesn't have to be military history; it can be anyone from history. If you could have a sit down with them and have a chat, who would it be?
My grandfather.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's cool. That's actually the same as the last. That's the same as Tyler's answer.
Yeah,
really?
On
last
the
guest,
last podcast. Yeah.
Yeah, no, my mom's dad, that is, my maternal grandfather, who passed away when I was 13 in high school. Probably my favorite grandfather, and someone although I was only 13, I feel like he could have been a really, I don't know, somehow he was a very important person in my life, and I think I would love to talk to him,
Yeah.
just about life and how I ended up where I ended up with my life, and how just talk about life, not necessarily about I think that's talk about life and see, like, okay, so maybe about the war, so as well, because he had he experienced that as a kid. But then also, like, okay, marriage, whatever,
just life in general,
life in general,
life lessons and stuff,
and talk about that. Yeah.
That's a
Why did
beautiful
he do
answer,
what he
man.
do? Why did he do what he did? And
It's something I'd love to do as well. My mother's father, he died when I was very young, but he was in the Royal Navy during World War II. So yeah, I'd love to just sit down and hear about what he was a part of. So,
yeah. I mean, those people are, whether you want it or not, they are part of your identity at some point, somewhere. And so I never understood that. I mean, I understand why people are always so proud about when they hear about their relative being a war hero. But yeah, it's because they are part of a life. They are part of our lives, whether we want it or not, and we identify ourselves with them. So, and yeah, that's
thanks. That's a beautiful answer, though. Like, usually people, especially same as the last guest on this podcast, he said it as well. And then at that moment, I was thinking, like, man, like, I should also say that, have that as my answer. My great grandfather, he was helping the resistance. He was a pastor, and he was also helping the resistance, and like his story and all the things. And then telling him how I am working on the history that he lived in, right, and stuff like that. Like, it's a way beautiful answer than if I say, oh, I want to meet Julius Caesar, or I want to meet Winston Churchill, or I want to interview, I don't know, Eisenhower. But okay, and then this other one, maybe this one is going to be harder for you. I hope it will be. If you could observe as a drone, just think as a drone, or observe like a bird's eye view of one historic event in history, just one, what would it be?
Wow.
Can be World War II, can be World War I, can be the whole history. One historic event, and you can take your time.
Okay, I'm gonna think about this while I'll try to answer. As a kid, I don't know whether as a kid I always, but that's maybe because I was a kid and I would always envision how it was on the battlefields, right? And then I was like, wow, I wish I could see how this was in 1944, and it would just snap back. But I mean, I feel like that is just a romanticized way of looking at war, and so it's probably.
No, I wouldn't say it like that. It's just the curiosity, right? Because you read so much of it, and
that's true.
You want to see and know what it actually
was.
But
it's probably like. Horrible. It's probably like
yeah.
Bad and yeah, it's not.
But it is human experiences, so.
Yeah. No, I. Ooh, difficult.
Should I tell mine?
Sure.
Punic Wars. Of the Romans against the Carthaginians. So that's something where Hannibal, and I say Punic Wars because there were 3 wars, right? But when you see Hannibal crossing the Alps with the elephants and stuff, and that type of stuff, because as a kid I was really into history, Roman history. So that's sort of my little ends, and of course Market Garden.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, mine was obviously the Zulu Wars. I'd love to have observed. Well, I wouldn't love to have because it would have been horrific, but witness the British defeat at Isandlwana purely just to see what went wrong, and then obviously Rorke's Drift from the movie Zulu to see that defense from the sky of how that was achieved.
Oh yeah. Interesting. Zulu Wars. I mean, I know nothing about those. I mean, I know nothing about the Punic Wars. I know nothing about the Zulu Wars. I mean,
Oh, and that calls himself an historian. No, I'm joking.
Well, the Dutch were pretty heavily involved, weren't they, down the Zulu Wars and the
Yep.
territories down there?
Yep.
Maybe that's something we could deep dive into one day, Sander.
Oh, another one. We're just starting
Yeah.
out with Vietnam.
Add to the list.
Add it to the list. Okay.
yeah, I'm just gonna add. I'm gonna stick with World War II, or maybe I'm gonna stick with World War II. And it's gonna be either Omaha Beach, June 6, 1944. Again, because I mean, photographs and those and images are. I love researching those, and I would love to like just see what it was like, I guess, and how how I want to see the boats coming in, and especially what happened on Dog Green sector, and you know, the Company A of the 116th Regiment just getting wiped out, and just what was the reason? Like, was it actually as it happened in Saving Private Ryan, or I don't know,
Or something different?
We don't know because we have like no eyewitnesses of really what happened there. And then the second would be the Battle of the Bulge, I would say, and
the specific part.
Yeah, the Luxembourg part, where my interest like really developed when I first started metal detecting with my dad.
Okay.
And just see how the battles, how everything developed from there. And I think
and if you have to choose not World War II because you were deciding also something not World War II.
No, I don't really have a subject outside of World War II that I would see. I don't know. No.
Are you interested in World War I? Because that is also really close to home, right? Like,
yeah,
I wouldn't say to home with the Netherlands, but more it's in Belgium, France, pretty close by.
I mean, I've visited some battlefields, but I've never been to Ypres. How do you say that in English? I don't know.
Wipers.
Yeah,
Wipers.
No, it's Ypres.
It is Ypres. It is Ypres, but the British called it Wipers during the time because we're British and it's just easier to bastardize names.
Completely butcher the Dutch language, but yeah.
No, I don't really have an interest in. I mean, I do. I find it fascinating, of course, but it's not something that I dive into.
Have you been to Verdun?
Yeah.
Yeah, you've been to Verdun.
Yeah, I did.
Okay.
But I was with a friend who didn't want to do World War I battlefield tour like every single day, and so we didn't do that. I visited the big the cemetery.
Yeah.
Ossuary,
yeah.
Yeah, that one. I went there.
With the skulls and the skeletons in there.
Yeah, because I had some photographs from the 5th Infantry Division being there in 1944. So
really?
Yeah.
Oh, did you pull that from the archive or is it online?
No, it was from a friend of mine who is a big 5th Infantry Division guy. He lives in France, and he passed those photos. I don't think I ever put it in and out because it were his photographs, so I didn't do that.
Man, if you want to do a proper Verdun tour, I'll go with you. I've been there so many times.
That would be fun.
Yeah, ever been on the Somme?
Yes, because I love. So when I go to Normandy, you always go through Amiens, and then you go up to Le Havre. And sometimes I've done it a couple of times now. When I went on my way back from Normandy, I would again move through Amiens, and then I would get off the highway and I would drive through the villages and see some monuments and that kind of stuff. But I've not seen all of it. Or I would love to do that. Yeah, it would be great.
Dude, yeah, you hit me up, man. Like World War I, we go there more times than World War II places, right? Yeah, we go more to World War I places than World War II places.
Are you doing World War II? What are your what is your still your favorite? Is that World War I or World War II? Both.
I mean, I've got a bit of an attachment to the Somme, I guess, World War One, but that's more obviously as a Brit and the loss of life to my fellow countrymen, I suppose. But I didn't really deep dive into World War One for a number of years. I was very focused on World War Two, and then I think it was you, Sander, that actually started talking about Verdun. So we did that trip, And I had never visited the Somme at that point, so it was only kind of recent years. I had been to the Somme earlier on in my life, but of an age where I didn't really understand what I was looking at or care about. But I think World War One's certainly the most passion at the moment for me.
Yeah, for me is I think Market Garden is like my little baby, right? That's something probably what you have with the Battle of the Bulge.
Yeah.
So yeah, Market Garden is I would say World War One is just such a I know you cannot compare wars, right? But if I have to choose one war to not fight in, it would be World War One.
Oh yeah.
The conditions, the strategies, the stories, the men, the amount, the time on just one little section. It's so different. That's why it's, I don't know, maybe the most interesting what I think is World War One at the moment. Yeah.
Is that why you're doing most tours?
No, most tours are Market Garden.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but with them, I've done 3 tours now from World War One. So I've done one in Verdun, Ypres. Yeah, 2 tours. I've done 2 tours in World War One now, and the rest are all Second World War Market Garden area. So yeah, man. So that was really all the questions we have, but there's one still remaining. What is coming up on your channel and your Instagram, and what's coming up for you as projects, videos?
Next week, I will probably release a new video next week, and it's called "Why There Are Still Millions of Soldiers from World War II Still Missing."
Oh.
You're getting where do you get those ideas from?
I sort of like I said, it's one of those learning curves processes that you go through, and you're like, I need to do better, and so I need to step up my game.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so this is a new type of video. It's not really then and now, but it's more of like, okay, how can I push myself to learn stuff, and how can we bring something new? And so I try to analyze why there are so many guys missing in action on both. So I in general, I first talk about all the guys, US, United States, Russia, Germany, and then I zoom in on the 2, Germany and the United States, and I look at I take all the statistics from the ABMC, the American Battle Monument Commission, and because they have an amazing data set that we can analyze, and we see why there are so many, on which branch they're missing. So most guys missing are Navy and Air Force, for both the Pacific and Europe. So why is that? And then why does an Army soldier go missing in action, for example? And so I do a case study, but I also try to look at the German side of that. We have millions of missing still in the Eastern Front, but Germany has also had recovered a million soldiers from cemeteries and battlefields on the Eastern Front, and reburied them already in Germany. And so yeah, we always look at the United States, for example, for wow, they have about almost 400,000 killed in action, but and then you compare those numbers, and you see the millions of casualties on German and Russian side that we don't talk about. So this is really why there are still millions missing, and I try to focus on the German and American side with that.
I look forward to watching that then.
Yeah, definitely. And for the people listening, you can now hear how much research goes into making these videos, and then you're not even talking about filming and editing it. It's just the research beforehand. It's absolutely insane.
Yeah, it's crazy, because I wanted to upload this video 2 weeks ago already, but I had to do the interview at the German cemetery, and it was so hard to get an appointment there. So every time I had to postpone. The whole video is done. I just need to insert the interview at the German cemetery.
Oh yeah. So what you're doing, I did it in the beginning as well. Just make videos, and then when it's done, you upload it. Now I screwed myself up, because now I want to do once every week, and I'm not sure how long I'm going to keep this up.
It's hard.
It's so hard, and the videos are shorter, and they are worse than if I put a lot of time in and then just upload it when it's done, right? And you're sort of having that sketch, and you're trying to do it fast, and I should probably do this, go back to what you're doing now as well. Just upload when it's done, take your time with it, even though it's one video a month or one in 2 months. And then the video quality that you produce is just insane, man. It's really good.
Thank you, appreciate that.
Yeah, 100%. Well, anything you want to ask Sean still before we end the podcast?
No, but I feel like I mean we should do another maybe off-camera trip. I would love to get to know you guys more. I mean, I know.
Yeah, sure, man. Yeah.
But
Yeah, that'd be cool.
I don't know Sean
Well,
that
we're
much.
planning. We've got a few things planned next year, right? So I think
Yeah.
we're going to come over early next year and do a weekend. But I said to Sander, because whenever I go visit him to Meppel, it's always we've always got a project on. We're going to film something. We're doing this.
I know,
that,
yeah.
that. I just said, look, I want to come out and just have like a vacation or a holiday, but still go visit some history stuff, but visit it for myself, not for the purpose of recording something or. So yeah, I would love to do that, and we were talking with Trench Diaries the other week, who's a German guy who's been on the podcast. We'd love to maybe go to Cologne but go there, have some beers, eat some food, see some history and do that. So yeah, that'd be cool. It'd be really, really good to meet you in person and get to know each other a bit better.
I mean, there's always a red light district in Nijmegen. I don't know if you guys.
I know where it is. I know where it is. History.
I'm just joking. I'm just joking because I accidentally walk into that street.
Yeah,
and
I'm going there for the history.
Where am I?
Yeah. Well, that red light district is also very old, so that's just historic. Just researching there. So yeah. Well, Joey, I want to thank you for being on the podcast. In the future, we'll definitely, if you have something new, reach out to us, and then we can have you on. If you want one subject to talk about, like history and AI, we can do a separate episode of that. If people want to see it as well, so just hit us up, and we'll make it happen like this.
All right, guys. That was awesome.
Yeah, Joey,
thank
you. And we end always the episodes with a salute. So. See you later. Cheers.